What's going on, guys? JT here from Precision Boxing. Now, one of the most important things in boxing is to take care of your hands, to wrap them well, take care of them well so they last you throughout the years. In boxing, your hands are your most important asset, your most important tool. In this video, I'm going to break down how to take care of your hands, how to wrap your hands, and what you can do to make sure that they last for the long run. So before we get into the wrap, let's cover a few important things about boxing and using your hands. Remember, the most important support mechanism in your hands are the bones, ligaments, and tendons of your hand. One of the best ways to develop durability, strength, and stability in your fist, in your hand, is to balance on your fist. And I covered this in a video back in 2014. Lay a towel down, fold it up, take a minute, balance on your fist. If you can't balance on one fist, then balance on two. A lot of people ask the question, if I do knuckle push-ups, is it the same? Close. It's in the long run, it's going to be about the same. But the thing is, when you do knuckle push-ups, your triceps and your shoulders and your pecs are going to fatigue in the push-up before the joints and the ligaments are fatigued, so they won't get the full benefit. Okay, so now that we covered that, let's get into the hand wrap. Now, some of you might find this overkill, but if you're going to be banging a lot of rounds on the bag, or you're going to start to ramp up your training, or your hands are new to this, you want as much support as you can get. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to put tape, hockey or athletic tape, under the wrap. This is going to support the bones and knuckles in the fist position. It's also going to prevent the wrap from rubbing on your knuckles and scabbing and cutting your knuckles. That's what a lot of people get in the beginning. The glove shifts and moves around. It moves the wrap on the gloves, and then you end up with two scabbed knuckles, especially down here at the end. So what I like to do is I take one piece of tape and I keep my hand wide. I bring it around, and this tape is loose. It's fairly loose, and I close it just lightly and snug. Okay, so then I bring that down, that's to my fist. Already there's a little bit of support right there. Then I like to take another piece of tape about the same length or so. This is maybe like about, I don't know, maybe about 12 to 14 inches, about 14 to 16 inches. I go around, and this, I keep my hand wide. See how I keep my hand wide? And I like to go around tight, fairly tight while my hand is wide. And then pat it down, and this already is giving me a lot of support. See, as I make a full fist, I'm already getting pressure right there, supporting the bones and the knuckles of my fist. This is already giving me a nice amount of support. If you really want extra support in this fist, what you can do is you can take some small pieces of tape, maybe about 2 or 3 inches, and then between the knuckles, you connect them together like so, snug. And here, I'm going to do that for each fist. I connect it right through. Now, this is a training wrap. This is not for an amateur fight or a pro fight. Those are two entirely different wraps. In a pro fight, you have a whole setup with gauze and tape, which is more advanced than this. And in an amateur fight, you're not allowed to go between the knuckles. You're not allowed to use tape. You can only use a wrap around the knuckles and around the wrist. So this is for your training, to give you the most protection and coverage for your training. So I take a few pieces of tape, I put them between, fairly snug. And now here, because these pieces of tape are connected on the top and the bottom, as I close my fist, it's going to press inside against my hand, and that's going to give me just even a little bit more support, not that much, but just a little bit more support. So already right there, I got a good amount of support. And for some of you, this might be overkill, but I would say, if you don't want to get to the point where your hands are starting to feel that pain, or if you're going to start to ramp up your training, you're hitting a lot of bags, hitting a lot of pads, then you're going to want to do this. If you're just maybe working out, 6 to 8 rounds and doing some light fun workouts and your hands are fine, then you can scale back. You don't have to do this. This is sort of an insurance policy for your hands. A couple other things that I like to do just to give you that added bonus. You all know about the roll of quarters, roll of dimes as sort of brass knuckles. So one thing that I used to do if I was hitting the bag a lot is I took a piece of leather, I cut it off from an old pair of gloves, but if you can get leather from anywhere, like a piece from a belt, and I would put it under my hand like so, and then I would wrap it up and then grip it. Now, the only thing about that is it's a little bit tedious to do that because you have to balance it while you're putting the wrap around. So I found that a bit tedious. Also, it's a little bit tedious to get your hand in the glove because the structures in the glove, when you grip them, they're not that strong. But this is going to give you another extra level of support, just put something in there that you can grip, that when you put your hand in the glove and grip it, you're going to have a little extra support. Another thing that I like to do, which some of you might laugh at, but it definitely works, is toe separators. Those things that they have at the salon. You can go in any drugstore and you can get them, set up in your hand like so, and put them through your hand, and then you would do your wrap around that, and that's going to give you a little bit more support as you grip and as you squeeze, and also in between the fingers. Again, it's a little bit tedious to get the wrap around that, so it all depends on what sort of coverage and protection you need. You might not need to do all this, but if you need a little extra support and you can work it with your wrap and you have the space, then this is another idea that's going to give you some support. Okay, so on to the wrap. Here we go. The first thing that you want to do is when you hook it in the thumb, you want to go over top like this, because as you close your fist, that's going to keep it together. Now for me, actually, most of my years of my wrap, I went underneath. I just sort of liked going that way. I liked bringing the wrap this way, but it does come loose at the base every now and then if you don't do it perfectly snug. So here you actually are going to go over top like so. So when you go over top, I like to go over top 2 times. So I go 1 and I go 2, and there I am over top. Now as I come underneath here for the 3rd time, instead of going around the wrist, I'm going to go over the thumb. I'm going to go over the thumb and then back, and I've done a full wrap around the thumb. See here? And I went over the thumb and back. Now I'm going to take that same bit, I'm going to continue over the wrist again. So now I have a base at the thumb. Then I come under and I'm going to go over the thumb again to create 2. And then I'm going to come under that thumb. So see here, I'm going over the thumb and then under it. I'm going to show you again. From here under the wrist, over the thumb and under it. And now I've wrapped the thumb twice, and I'm going to keep that snug. Then here I'm going to go over top of the hand, and here I am. I've gone over the hand, always going in that same direction. Now that gives me a good base at the bottom here. I'm snug, the thumb is snug, and the wrist is snug. Now from here, I'm going to go up to the knuckles. I'm going to come around. I'm going to go up diagonally to the knuckles, and then I'm going to wrap around the knuckles 3 times right here. So I'm going to go 1. Now what's important here is to keep my fingers open. I don't want this. I don't want this closed hand. If I get a closed hand, my bones are going to bunch up and crunch on each other. My hand is going to be suffocated. So keep those fingers apart and keep your hand open while you're doing the wrap. So here I go 1, here goes 2, and here goes 3, like so. And now my hand, the wrap is underneath at the bottom. So now what I want to do is I want to create my crisscross pattern, the similar support that I did with the tape. From the base of my thumb, I'm going to go over through the pinky. I'm going to go back, over, through the middle knuckle. See, I'm going from the base of the thumb right there. I'm going to go over and through the index finger, all from the base of the hand. Now here, again, I've got all those 3. I want to go across and catch them all. So I'm going to go across over the top of my hand, here, and then under and between the index and the thumb. Okay, so let me just show you again. After I did that 3rd one over top, I came under the base of the thumb here, and then I went over top. Diagonally, I come under, and here, I come under and catch all of those guys across. Catch those 3 going over, I'm going to catch them across. Now from here I can pad up a couple more times if I want on the knuckles, if I need more support on the knuckles. After this, the wrap is essentially done. So I've got a lot here because I like a long wrap, but if you want from here, then you can just sort of start to use up the wrap by making X's, or what I like to do is I like to take it high on the forearm here and start to bring it up the forearm. And then here at the very end, close it off like so, and there you have a nice solid wrap. All right, you guys, I hope that helps with keeping a solid wrap to protect your hands from boxing, and that's going to help you with boxing for the years to come. Thanks for watching. Peace. Peace.